Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this very interesting conversation we have in what is a relatively new program, the Punjab Good Governance Fellowship, right? And today we have a panel of, broadly from across the team, which is in charge of this program and helps with hiring and running it and so on and so forth, right? My name is Yash. I'm your host for today. I'll be moderating the session. We'll ask all the guests to give a very quick intro, right, for themselves. Before that, as for my intro, I work with FITA India and South Asia in a public policy role. I also run Public Policy India, which is a knowledge platform that I started 3 years ago to make public policy more engaging, accessible for everyone, and help people build careers here, right? And I've been a LAM fellow in the past. I've worked in the parliament, and that's about me. Maybe we'll quickly get started with Tushar for a quick intro. Thank you.
Thanks, Yash. I'm Tushar. I've formerly worked as a district development fellow for Roopnagar in Punjab, and currently I'm working as a senior associate at the Good Business Lab. Yeah.
Mayank.
Thanks, Yash. Hi, everyone. My name is Mayank, and I currently lead this program as lead governance. I've in the past done 2 fellowships and earlier worked with a consulting firm on government consulting.
Awesome. Suhail.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Sohail, and I was part of the governance fellowship in government in the year 2020. And I'm currently working with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry as a logistics executive in the logistics division. And yeah, I almost carry more than 7 years of work within the public policy sector.
Awesome. And Tulika. You're on mute. I'm sorry. You're on mute, Tulika.
Avni, you're on mute.
So sorry. Hi, I'm Avni. I used to lead this program from its start. I helped build this program and I was leading it till 2021, post which I went to study to HKS. And right now I work with multiple organizations, including the World Bank Group, ISB, and many other organizations.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll quickly, jump into the fellowship and some of the questions that we have, right? My first question will be to Avni. Please tell us about, ISB's role and collaboration for the Good Governance Fellowship.
Right. To be extremely brief with this, because I think a lot has been spoken about already, and there's a lot of excitement for this, which I'm very glad about. ISB is a knowledge partner with the state on this program, which essentially means that ISB is helping the state identify the right pool of applicants, help bring those applicants into the government, and then help them with their growth and skill building through their journey in these 2 years. ISB's role limits to that in the sense that they will help these fellows in their journey, give them the required skills, network, guide them on how to build themselves and grow while they are working with the state. But ISB will not have any power to assign work or influence work or make that transfers. All of them stays with the government. These fellows will be on the payrolls of the state, and ISB is just a partner to help them grow.
Awesome. That's very helpful and overview. Thank you. Maybe we'll quickly move on to Mayank with the next question, which is, how is the Good Governance Fellowship, right, different from DDF, right? In the sense, what does the structure of the program look like? What, where the fellows placed, whom they work with? What are some of the specific goals that they would be pursuing?
Yeah, I think that's multiple parts. I think I'll unpack it a little bit. So
yeah,
the Good Governance Fellows program is an evolved version of the DDF or the Governance Fellows program. Suhail on this call and Tushar on this call have been Governance Fellows and District Development Fellows. What we are doing with this new avatar of the program is, one, ISB is onboarded as a knowledge partner, which means there's a lot more structured capacity building. 2, the fellowship is combined together. So instead of looking at the fellows differently as being placed in districts and the state, this is combining and bringing together everyone. And with the new structure, we also have fellows being placed not only at the district and at the state, they also will be placed at the municipal corporations. And the demand at the state level is going to increase significantly, almost about 3x the number of fellows we had earlier planned for.
Right.
So in terms of what they work will depend on the level that they work at. They will definitely be working on some of the key state priorities. in addition to what the officer they're assigned to sort of considers important. So if somebody is working on agriculture at the state level, they might work on certain different things. If somebody's at the district level, somebody's at the border district, for example, in addition to working on the state priorities, they will also work on some of the issues and challenges that they are specific to their districts or the departments or the corporation that they work with.
Amazing. That's very helpful and very constructive response. Mayank, thank you for that. Suhail, if we can quickly move on to a question with you, which is, what is the nature of work for a governance fellow, right? Like, how was your fellowship experience?
I think the nature expands in a lot of horizons, right? From strategy to execution. With respect to my particular experience, I think the key word would be a steep learning curve and challenges. And both have been really exciting, and both in terms of strategy and execution of policies, and especially I would say stroke of a pen reforms. You get to know what things can be metamorphosized in a manner to ease out governance as a process. I think that will be a huge learning curve. And yeah, it's been a great experience.
Maybe we'll just continue on that itself. So we'll just holding on to the thought.
Yes. So,
what are some of the key challenges faced by a governance fellow?
Sure. I think one of the key challenges will be for a person coming from a non-governance background would be just to understand the structurization of governance, how a state functions primarily, and at what levels the state functions. And once you get a hang of it, I think to pull the right lever at a right point in time with right procedural reforms, I think that's the key to achieve success and like to do more impactful work. I think so.
Totally agreed, especially on the understand the governance structure part. Tasha, quickly moving on to you. What is the nature of work for a district government fellow, right? And again, what was your fellowship experience like?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Yash. So basically, it depends a lot on the priorities for a particular quarter. Like, I think like almost all the DTS got to work on Punjab Assembly elections 2022, and then of course we all were like quite immersed in the COVID-19 pandemic response as well. So from like monitoring and evaluation of policies to even like formulating projects, like the engagement is very diverse and versatile. And it also depends a lot on the vision of your deputy commissioner and additional deputy commissioner that you're potentially going to be working with, that how they want to utilize you as a resource person. So like my DCs and ADCs had an inclination towards creating tech-based solutions for monitoring and evaluating policies a lot. So we developed the one-stop center dashboard, DONet dashboard, and Sampan application for quick identification of malnourished children. So again, these were their priority and these were their brainchild. So as a DDF, you get to capitalize on these avenues wherein you get to upskill yourself in seeing, how these projects are formulated from its conceptualization stage to its implementation. Then, of course, like you will get to facilitate a lot of evidence-informed decision-making, wherein like a lot of needs assessment work and background research work will be steered towards a DDF. And then utilizing that, you will always, be on the go for even like formulating certain action plans for schemes like say Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, or, for even like certain departments like employment department, skilling department, or fisheries department. And then we also had to prepare a lot of proposals for funding under different government schemes. Like I remember, like some of them are very time sensitive because the departments and ministries would send you letters regarding the deadlines by which you can apply for funding. So again, like, despite you having a particular, I would say timeline of meetings, while you're working as a fellow, you might have to consider that and like account for, new time sensitive tasks that actually end up coming in. And then alongside that, of course, there is a lot of discretion also given to you. Like if you want to push for any projects of your own, then you can I remember like my DCs and ADCs were very active in connecting me with right CSR institutions, right corporate institutions for garnering CSR funds. So again, like we worked on developing model Anganwadi centers proposals and like for model school proposals. And then you will also get to work a lot on developing partnerships for projects and also maintaining donor relationships once you start that kind of engagement. Then alongside that, there is also a wonderful immersion that I think the DDF fellowship offers in event management. Like while you're working with the district administration, like we had to manage and of course plan a lot of employment fairs. And then under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, there was a language and cultural exchange program that had to be executed. So, again, these are very time sensitive tasks. So you have to account for all the departments that can contribute immensely. And then, of course, make sure that, every particular responsibility is given to a particular POC in a particular department. And then, of course, onboarding them, training them, and making sure that things happen according to plan. So alongside that, I would also say that, some skills that would be handy for an incoming DDF would be like if they could just like learn the basics of Google Sheets and like get really hands-on experience of developing PPTs on really short notice.
Yeah.
So that was something that was really helpful for me during my tenure. And of course, then like once you get these skills, then you would also be involved in a lot of documentation of best practices as well.
I like just how wide Suhail smiled at that. Maybe if you can just build on that, Tushar, and I know you have covered a lot of this briefly already, but just to make sure that audiences, who are looking to apply to this program have a fair idea of how they should prepare in that sense. Maybe two or three of the biggest, let's just say, challenges, right, that you would advise them on that, hey, this would be there, and it's good to prepare yourself for as you enter the program.
Yeah, in fact, like Sohail did cover a lot of the same challenges that I wanted to speak on, but like I think like for me, some of the key challenges were also transfers of key stakeholders. And I do not mean that like your DCs and ADCs would do exceedingly well in onboarding the new incoming DCs and EDCs, but it's the departmental heads that sometimes you struggle with because the motivations are very different to be in the services. Like a lot of people are there for the social capital and not for the motivation that a lot of DDFs and GFs might be there in the system with. So
Right.
again, like working around with them, making them do things that are outside the ambit of their original obligations that are given to them by the departments is something which is very difficult. So I think that was something that I had to deal with a lot. But again, it's a very good opportunity for DDF to, learn how to just optimize this particular machinery better and still accomplish the goals. You can ideate a lot on, accountability mechanisms, and your DCs and ADCs will back it up a lot. Like I remember deputy commissioner used to give me full discretion of writing orders for functionaries. So that experience was really amazing to establish accountability mechanisms. Then, of course, there is a lot of dynamism of tasks. Like if any incoming DDF asks me that, what a week in the fellowship would look like I can never answer that. Like even the DC is not aware what tasks they have to do in a particular week. So there is so much dynamism, and it's so beautiful to have a learning curve of your own through that, wherein you have to still accomplish those particular goals, and you have to still coordinate a lot with several departments. And the tasks overall aren't that difficult. It's just that how you get that done is the most difficult part, because a person from whom you would require a data set might be at the field work doing some other particular task, and they might have offline records and they would have to access them. So these particular tasks that are also time sensitive nature become very difficult to execute overall. And then I would also say, like for some people, I would also refer to the collective cohort over here. Some people were belonging to South India or other states, wherein there was also a communication gap. So a lot of meetings that happen at the district level are in vernacular language. So if you're not fluent in Punjabi, so you might face certain difficulties. But again, like we have wonderful examples of certain DDAs who have like successfully upskilled themselves in that as well, because you have a lot of facilitation, a lot of officials who would be translating things for you, and you can always request a particular POC to repeat things in meetings. But again, I did feel that these were some of the biggest challenges. Yeah,
that's very helpful, Tushar. Thank you so much for the overview. Avni will come back to you quickly. What are the post fellowship options, right? Where are former fellows now? What are they doing?
I think I would like to start by saying that I think I had a great team and that I'm not surprised that each one is doing extremely well. And it makes me very proud every time somebody reaches out to say I'm at X place or I got X award. I'll start by that, but I'll also say that the program opens up opportunities in all different ways, as in it is not necessary that you move on to another state government. We have had fellows who've gone to study after this. We have had fellows who've gone to private institutions after this. We have had fellows who go to the government of India after this. So else here, he's also with the government of India right now. So after this fellowship, we have also had people who after this have come to a conclusion that they no longer want to do this. So, it's not that it makes you stick to a space. It gives you a very clear, comprehensive view of how working inside a government looks like, and what is life, why, if you are trying to make impact through that tool or through that system. You cannot have a better or deeper understanding than what this program gives you. And once it does, then you can go in any direction you want to. You can go to study, you can go to government of India, you can go to another state, you can go to a multilateral, you can go to a private organization, foundation. There are multiple opportunities. I think what this program also does is, because you remain the point of contact in most cases between the state and an external agency, it allows you to see how external agencies interact with the government. And would you want to work there instead and extend your impact through there? So we also had a lot of team members who moved from inside the state to those agencies who then work with the government. So it allows you to explore your options.
That's very promising, and couldn't agree more, Avni, that no one career path post this. Mayank, maybe we'll just conclude with the final question for you, which is, I mean, something we ought to have taken at the earliest, but hygiene question, but important to get this out of the way nonetheless, which is, what is the eligibility for this fellowship, right? Like, how can one apply? What are the timelines? Because I can assure you, a lot of people watching this are actively interested in the work that the team has put together, and they're looking to apply. So
Sure. The eligibility for applying to this fellowship is bachelor's and then a full-time work experience of 3 years, or you could have a master's degree and you could have 1 year of full-time work experience.
And
I think we have
timelines
about the timelines. The first cycle got over recently on 18th December. Nonetheless, we still have a couple of days to go for the second deadline, which is also the final deadline, which is 20th December, which is approaching in about a couple of days. So we still have a deadline upcoming, and I really encourage people to apply to that.
Amazing. This is very helpful. Is there anything anyone else wants to add before I just add a concluding note?
I think, Yash, I think you will definitely mention the link to the applications.
Absolutely. Yep, we'll do that.
So not emphasize, so please do check out the link for more details on where to apply.
Totally. Thank you. This has been very helpful. Maybe I'll just add one last thing, which is, in the last 5 years alone, and like, I started working in policy 2019, and this is something I've seen myself. Governments have really opened up, right? Be it at the district level or even at the government of India level, right? They're hiring more people, even if not on a very long-term basis, maybe contractual or what have you, right? But the idea is to get fresh talent and fresh insights on board, right? And just get started working on specific things and mandates, right? It's a very refreshing, very welcome change. And in fact, a lot of other states also have had similar programs, of course, not in the same mold, of course. Every program is unique, has its own strengths, but nonetheless, and people have gone on to do some incredible things, right? Because the experience of working at the grassroots, in a sense, with district, level officials and some in the state government, really stays with you and genuinely teaches you how the system works, right? As we call it. So I'll just encourage people to apply wholeheartedly, right? If you're eligible, please do that. Put in your applications. It's never too late in that sense. As long as you just put it before the deadline, that should work. I can already see a lot of people, from the early avatar have done so well, and from those of early programs as well. So very good to see. And we will link in our show notes the link to apply, right? And the forms and everything, right? There's a website as well with FAQs and all, right? So you can check that out. And thank you so much for joining in today. And to our panelists, thank you so much for your time. It means a lot. And please keep in touch and take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, yeah. Thank you for